Hey there, Chef D Malfi here, and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy Friday edition. That means we're making a dessert, a healthy and nutritious sweet treat to carry you through the weekend. Today we're making one of my absolute favorite cookies. We're making snickerdoodles, but not just any snickerdoodles. We are making pumpkin snickerdoodles, perfect for the season. So let's get started right away. Okay, the first thing that I want to do is I need to create my bowl for dry bowl for wet ingredients and then mix them together. Then you must refrigerate the dough. So I've done this steps already, but let's start with dry. So dry ingredients. I'm going to just emphasize that this recipe is totally flour free. It is awesome. It's made with blanched almond flour and some almond meal, or you can use just almond meal or just blanched almond flour, whatever you want. You want 2 cups. I'm going to use one of each. You guys know the drill, and if you don't know the drill, if you have any comments or questions along the way about your plant-based journey, let a sister know. I'm here engaging with you, and I love to engage with you. So write it in the comment box if you have something to offer. Diane, it's good to see you. You guys, I recently changed my name on Facebook. I'm now officially Chef D Malfi, and it feels so darn good. I've been wondering what to do with my business name for a very long time. And yesterday, I sat with some new business partners of mine, and they said, well, what is your business name? How come we can't, how come it seems like it's difficult to understand? Is it Daniela Malfitano? Is it Chef D Malfi? You introduce yourself as that. And I was like, it's time to address that. So we made the decision. I made the decision, and it felt so freeing. Officially now, I'm going by Chef D Malfi. All right. So I have my 2 cups of almond flour. I'm using half blanched and half just almond meal. You can make your own almond meal if you want by just pulsing some almonds together. I'm showing you that, but there's none in the bag. Pulsing your almonds together until you get basically almond dust like this. Yeah. All right. So that's great. The next thing I want is baking powder. I have to use some really great double acting baking powder. Make sure that it's not expired. This says best used by March 16th, 2022. So we are in the good, in the clear. I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon of this, and I have that here. And really make sure to check your expiration date. People always ask me, well, I'm baking and I've had this tin of baking powder for like a few years and it's not working. My cookies or my bread or my muffins or my scones are not turning out. It's probably because you have expired spices and expired leavening agents, and you don't want that. All right, the next thing that we want is some sea salt. I'm going to use 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, my absolute favorite. I'm talking about it a lot because I absolutely love it. Sorry for the delay this morning also, or this afternoon. We had some technical difficulties. Number one, the webcam has been acting funny, and so it's sometimes super grainy, and I don't want to go on when it's grainy. I want to go on when it's like bright and clear. Also, I did my hair this morning. So Tina's just woken up. She just is like, girl, I'm ready to play this weekend. I'm ready. I call my hair Tina. Do you name your hair? If you do, please tell me what your hair's name is. I really want to know. I love knowing if people name their hair.
Bernard.
Danny says Bernard. Okay, that's weird. All right, so I blended up my dry ingredients. Now let's talk about it. Wet ingredients, really important for a snickerdoodle. Snickerdoodles are moist, they're chewy, they're really great, delicious cookies that are kind of chewy and yummy, and you can add any flavors that you want. Traditionally, it's just all-purpose flour with a cinnamon sugar that's sort of been, the balls have been rolled or the cookies have been rolled in it, and then they're flattened and baked out. So what they end up doing is kind of getting this crinkly effect with cinnamon and sugar that's kind of on the top and then baked in. But these are even better because these actually contain pumpkin. So we're going to use pumpkin puree or pumpkin pack. And the first thing that I want to do is get that. I'm going to grab 3 tablespoons of pumpkin puree, which I have here. And I like to keep it in a stainless steel or glass container. And I cover it with a little bit of plastic wrap or the reusable wrap, right? I'm just going to use 3 tablespoons of this. And then I keep it covered just like this. Put your wrap on top. I don't have my wrap on it right now because it's in the house, but that's how you would do it. You kind of like would keep it like guacamole. You know how if you make guacamole ahead of time, you have to keep basically like plastic on the surface. Same thing with pumpkin pack. Yeah. Make sure you're using pumpkin puree or pumpkin pack. It's known by both names depending on where you are in the world. And make sure it's not pumpkin pie filling. We don't want any sugar added. We don't want any oil added. And we don't even want any spices added. We just want the plain pumpkin puree. And you can also make your own. Okay, so that's that. We now want just a little bit of pumpkin pie spice. All right, so I'm going to talk about my flavor agents today. I'm using pumpkin pie spice, perfect for the holidays, perfect for October, November, and December. I absolutely love this stuff. I usually buy 2 or 3 jars at once because it's only available this time of year. And I'm going to use half a teaspoon of this. And again, the ingredients in here are really wonderful. Cinnamon, ginger, lemon peel, nutmeg, cloves, and cardamom. Really yummy. It's got a brightness because of the citrus. It's got a floral essence because of the cardamom. It's really super yummy. Cheryl, what's up? Good to see you. Cheryl, I did my hair this morning. I did a little color and I just a little blowout. What do you think, Cheryl? Sharice, good to see you. Marcy, hello. Good afternoon. I'm glad that you're here. All right. So the next thing that we need is a little coconut oil. So I'm using organic virgin coconut oil today. I want it to be melted. You can see this is a little melty. Yeah. The bottom is kind of solid, but the top is melty. That's great. You just need a little bit melty. Honestly, it melts up just fine right in my pantry. So I'm going to take some out of my here 3 tablespoons, and because it's liquid, I want to measure it as though it's liquid. I'm going to measure it inside of a liquid measuring. This is a small one, and I adore it. This is from OXO, and I'll put this on my Amazon shop so in case you want to figure out what it is or purchase it. And it's really cool because it has the ounce measurement or the tablespoon measurement and the cup measurement on the side. So I want 3 tablespoons of this. You can use refined coconut oil, which this is not. Refined coconut oil usually has no aroma and no flavor, but I like extra virgin coconut oil. I don't mind the flavor, and I definitely don't mind the aroma. I think it's great. You can even put it in your hair. Tina likes it. All right. All right. The next thing that we want is a little maple syrup. So we're going to use maple syrup here because it's so great, and it has that, delicious amber rich flavor. My mouth is salivating already. All right, for these cookies. I'm going to use 1/4 cup. Again, this is liquid, so I'm going to measure it right in my liquid measure. Yes, there is a difference between liquid and solid. You definitely want to measure them separate. All right, 1/4 cup. How do I know? Well, because it says right here, 1/4 cup. I can throw it right in. Yum. All right, another flavor agent, a little bit of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Wow, that came out really awkward. Another flavor agent, a teaspoon or 2 of vanilla extract. I'm using alcohol-free. I don't consume alcohol anymore, and I actually try to remove it from my pantry altogether from all of my baked goods and all of that. And so I get the alcohol-free version vanilla extract as well. Number one, because it has better flavor, I think, and it doesn't have that alcohol-y aftertaste. I just don't like the alcohol-y aftertaste. So 1 and 2, there we go. And then I'm going to add, oh no, I'm done. That's it. Pumpkin pack, maple syrup. I have my cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice. I have my vanilla extract and my coconut oil. Give this a mix, but I'm going to mix it properly with a whisk here. This is really good. And this should just be not like chunky. It should be kind of all the way blended and kind of a little bit chunky. It won't be completely smooth because the pumpkin puree it's going to be kind of suspended in the maple syrup, but just mix it well or whisk it well. Whisk works really great. Yay. Put this aside. And now let's combine these two. All right, so I'm going to add my dry to my wet ingredients. Let's do it. You can do this right in a food processor too, so that it all is kind of contained and you can mix it and blend it by pulsing it a few times. It's very easy to do in a food processor. That's how I did it the first time. But I wanted to show you, so I'm doing it in a bowl so you can really see it. And then give this a good mix. Don't be afraid, you can't overmix this because there's no gluten. We're not using any flour. So this is grain-free and gluten-free because it's all almond flour based. So you don't worry about overmixing it. You won't do it. You can't do it. The reason why we don't want to overmix things with all-purpose flour, batters with all-purpose flour, like muffin batter or cookie batter or scone or whatever, any of these quick breads that use AP flour or any of the whole wheat flours, any grain and gluten flour, is that when you overmix it, you develop the gluten. The protein within it is called gluten, and it makes it kind of chewy and tough. But you can't do that when it's gluten-free. You can't do that with nut flours. So perfect. We have it all mixed together. This looks fantastic. Believe it or not, you actually do want to refrigerate this. And I'm going to pop it into the refrigerator now, and I'm going to let this sit. I think it's really good to let it sit for a minimum of about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, but actually it's really great to make ahead of time. So you can actually make this ahead of time and let it sit overnight. So let me pop this right into my refrigerator. And I, of course, made one ahead of time just to show you. So here is what it looks like, right? And this is in my food processor. Here we go. And it gets really nice and hard, and it's perfect. It's ready. So let me grab a little one of these. Do you guys know what this is? I absolutely love these. This is like a wonderful cookie scoop. I absolutely love it. I think it's super helpful. I never had one until recently, and now I have it and love it. Excuse me while I clear the decks. I'm going to grab a cookie sheet now, and I want this cookie sheet to be lined with a BPA-free cooking mat or baking mat. I have this here. I love these. You guys, you can find these on my Amazon shop. These are baking mats. These are BPA-free and FDA-approved BPA-free. So they are really, really high quality. You can cut them to be the fit any size you want. I use a small oven in my studio, so that's why this cookie sheet seems a little small. But you can cut it to be the size of your regular standard cookie sheet as well. And I love it. I love using it because you don't have to spray your cookie sheet. You can wash this very easily, and it's totally sustainable. You can use it over and over again. All right, so before I scoop the cookies, I need to make my cinnamon and sugar rolling mixture. Yeah? Ooh, camera's like fuzzy again. All right, so what I need is a little cinnamon. So I have some cinnamon here, and I want, by a little, I mean like quite a bit. Recipe calls for about 1/4 cup. And to this, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of coconut sugar. So I'm using coconut sugar instead of regular all-purpose, granulated sugar, because this is going to actually give you a different kind of texture, which I absolutely love. I'm going to have to eyeball this because my tablespoon is dirty now. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. That looks great. And then I will give this a mix. And get this done ahead of time so that you can, when you start scooping, you can scoop and roll these in cinnamon and sugar and then place them down on your mat. Yeah, Marcy has a question. Okay, snickerdoodle cookies are my favorite. Oh, comment. I think I'm going to have to make these this weekend. I really hope you do, Marcy. They're super good. Soft, chewy, pumpkin-y, yummy. Cindy says, don't have a name for my hair, but I named my car. Cindy, what's the name for your car? We need to know. What'd you name your car? I'm surprised you don't have a name for your hair. That's all right. That's all right. Love it. I love that you named your car, though. It's hilarious. All right. So that's that. This is that. Perfect. I want to put my cookies here, and then my cinnamon and sugar here, and then my baking sheet here. Now, this might seem kind of like, duh, obvious, or it might not seem obvious at all, in which case that's okay. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because working in the kitchens for so many years, you have to kind of learn the best way to work, the easiest and cleanest way to work. It really does help to make this experience feel lighter and more joyful. So get yourself set up for success. That's why I always kind of clean as I go, and I'm like clearing the deck so that you're not distracted, and neither am I, and then putting everything in order. The other last thing that you'll need before we get going is some sort of mason jar or cup. You want this because you want this to actually flatten your cookie. Yeah? Let's get going. So I have I believe this is a 1.5 ounce cookie scoop. It's about a tablespoon and a half. Grab it. You have like a golf ball size. Yeah? And then just basically let it hang out and mix in with the cinnamon and sugar mixture, and then place it down. And we'll put these, we'll actually weight them down with a cup at the very end. So work in stages here. Grab it. Spin it around in that cinnamon and sugar mixture. Yum. You can make these smaller if you want. You can make them bigger if you want. It doesn't really matter. Once the batter is chilled, it's pretty good. Meaning it's kind of like foolproof. And I love the addition of pumpkin. Seriously, I've always loved snickerdoodles, but I might add pumpkin puree every single time I make these snickerdoodles now because they're just that good. The maple syrup and the pumpkin together, it's like screaming fall. It's like screaming Halloween. Do you guys have your costume picked out yet? What are you going to be this year? Are you going trick-or-treating? Are you giving out candy if you're not trick-or-treating? I was one of those people that like trick-or-treated until I was in college, and I absolutely love it. This year, I'm probably going to be giving out candy for the first time here in Orange County, and I've lived here for some time, but I've never actually been here for this time of year. I've always actually been elsewhere. So I'm really excited to be home this year for it. If that, instead of giving out candy, I might make some delicious treats, some like COVID approved, parent approved, pre-packaged, low sugar, delicious, healthy treats. I haven't figured out what I want to give yet to the kiddos in my neighborhood, but I'm going to figure out something and it's going to be good. One of the things that we used to do as a kid is we would make popcorn balls for Halloween. Anyone else did this? Did anyone else do this at home? Popcorn balls, usually caramel corn balls, candy corn balls, all of these things like just like sweetened popcorn. And I absolutely loved it. And we would package them up in these little like cellophane bags and give them out. And I just felt like, you know, when you went to a house that had that as the trick or treat option, it's like, yeah, you felt like you hit the jackpot, right? Gosh, I loved trick or treating as a kid. I was super into Halloween because my mom is super into Halloween. Halloween's my mom's favorite holiday because she loves dressing up and she loves decorating. And I think she is a kid at heart. And so she loves kind of the spirit of Halloween, always has. We have this in common. Me and my mom have this innocent, childlike quality about us. Love my mama for that. All right, I'm going to put my pumpkin snickerdoodle batter situation and cinnamon sugar aside. And I'm going to wipe my hands. I'm going to grab my trash can. I decided that I'm going to be a butterfly this year. So I'm really happy for that my costume is here and it's arrived and it's so cute. I think I'm going to wear it next week. Do you guys want to wear your costumes next week? If you have a costume, will you wear it at some point, take a photo and put it in the Facebook group? I would absolutely love that. All right, so I have my mason jar. I'm going to use a mason jar because it has a really nice flat surface here. And I'm just going to press the cookies down. I want them to be about 1/2 inch thick. Oh, this is a good time to tell you to preheat your oven, 350 degrees. And there she wrote. There she had it. Is that how it goes? I don't know. But we have some snickerdoodles here. This looks great. Of course, if you don't like that little ring around it, you can always just flip it. I don't mind the ring, but if you don't want it, you can flip it and you have a perfectly flat snickerdoodle cookie just begging to get into the oven. All right, so into the oven it goes. That's great. I'm going to set the timer for, I think 15, maybe 16, 17 minutes, anywhere between 18. The recipe says bake for 10 to 12 minutes, but I have to tell you, I prepped these ahead of time and I think it takes a little bit longer. So I'm setting it for like 15 to 16 minutes. It really depends on your oven though. Cindy says, my daughter has a cookie food cart and she is always looking for vegan options. This will be a great option to make for the holiday special. That's rad, Cindy. So she has a cookie food cart. Is it like a vehicle that she drives around the neighborhood? Like, I'm so into this. We have an ice cream truck that goes around our neighborhood, and I'm kind of always bugged by it because it's all of these terrible offerings, like the worst candy, the worst ice creams with all the food dyes and like terrible sugar, high fructose corn syrup. And I keep thinking, why is this not like a healthy food cart option for people right now? Because there's tons of kids in the neighborhood and they're so excited, and they would be just as excited for like a delicious fruit smoothie or a delicious homemade, fudgesicle as they would be, a terrible machine-made fudgesicle with animal products. So I love that your daughter has a food cart. That's amazing. All right, you guys. So I'm not going to let you sit and wait for these to bake off because I know you have other things to do, but I baked them ahead of time. And here's what they look like when they come out of the oven. Cute, right? Pumpkin-y, snickerdoodle-y, yummy. Take your platter or plate. You can get them right off, and I'm just going to let them sit on top of this gorgeous platter. And there you have it. Pumpkin snickerdoodle cookies have never looked more adorable or more delicious. Yum. All right, yes, I'm glad to hear that your daughter can use this recipe. Have her put it in her stationary food cart in Portland, please. Pumpkin snickerdoodle cookies, but tell her to like tell people that this is all plant-based and she's really excited to have a vegan option. All right, you guys, I have to try one of these cookies because they look yummers. And I baked them last night, but I didn't take a bite yet. So here we go. Every batch is a little different. And don't let me forget, I have to give this cookie a little gratitude. Thank you, cookie. Thank you, you guys. Thank you, God. Seriously? Whoa. Mmm. Mmm. Okay. Here's what's good about it. It's not overly sweet. So I know all you whole food plant-based people out there, you might be looking for something that's not overly sweet, doesn't like break the bank, so to speak. You will want to try these. These are so good. If you wanted to increase the sweetness, you could, but these are perfect. This would be great with like a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Yummy. And I love the color. So good. Yum. It's me clapping for myself. Anyway, thank you guys so much. It's been a really, really fun week. We did a lot of cooking this week. We did a lot of talking about plant-based cooking and food in our Facebook group too. If you haven't yet been on our Facebook group in a while, I know a lot of you are members, or if you're not a member yet, join our Facebook group, Plant-Based Made Easy. It's totally free to join. It is like booming like gangbusters right now. Everyone and their mother is making recipes from this Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook. This is the October edition. Some of y'all are making recipes from the September book or the August book, and that's awesome that it's still kind of in your rotation. I love seeing all your creations. You guys are doing such a great job. You guys are like my kitchen club. You are the amazing group of people. This is a wonderful plant-based group of plant-based advocates and activists all over the world. I'm so grateful that you're all part of this. Barbara says, I'm definitely going to make these. I hope that you do, and I hope that you and your family love them. You guys come back for more next week, will you? Next week is our final week of October, and because it's just in time for Halloween, we have some really spooky, delicious treats for you on the menu. We are going to start on Monday with a typical breakfast, but something that's a little bit more kicked up, a pesto and veggie scramble, eggless, of course. It's really yummy. Let's get you set up for success for next week. And if you have the cookbook already and you're wondering, well, what is the staple recipe this weekend? It happens to be plant-based mozzarella. So if you want, please get the ingredients for the plant-based mozzarella. If you're wondering, where do I get arrowroot flour or coconut oil or cashews or nutritional yeast or this weird ingredient that I've never heard of but is called kappa-carrageenan, you can find it on my Amazon page. So check that out and make this plant-based mozzarella because it's so easy. I'm telling you, you are going to make it and you're going to be like so surprised how simple it is. And then do your journal exercise on this page. It's really fun to hear what comes up for you. These are reflections and realizations as you prepared all this food. What came up for you? What are you noticing? Your body is telling you a lot, I bet. And then if you want to prepare for next week and get all of the wonderful, delicious ingredients for our spooky treats and deliciousness that we're going to be making for week 4, check out your week 4 grocery list. This has everything in order: fruits, vegetables, spices, nuts, seeds, grains, legumes, and extras. Everything that you would need is available at Trader Joe's. And if it's not, there is a link to it. That link is clickable because this is a downloadable book I just printed out. And you can actually purchase right from my Amazon affiliate page. Yes, I get a tiny bit of commission, but it's not even about the commission. It's actually much more about you being prepared and having what you need for your house. Because listen, that dime or nickel that I'm making isn't going to go very far. But listen, I'm doing this for you. I hope that I've set this up and I've organized it well. I really hope to see you guys again next week. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you then. Ciao for now. Peace, guys.